We thank God ya kwamba ameendelea kutusaidia kusoma Biblia, na ni important kusoma our Bibles. It's a letter that God left with us so that we may know him and we may know our direction. So we are finishing with 2 Kings. Leo tuko kama vile tumeandikiwa chapter 23. It has 25 chapters. So we are almost at the end. Na kwa sababu itakuwa katikati ya wiki, that is why I'm doing the introduction of 1 Chronicles, because it will be our next book. So far, he has been Ebenezer, and I believe that we are learning as we read the word. As the heading of the book shows, Chronicles, the book of Chronicles is a narrative of events. It is also a history, and it is a record of the previous things that have happened. So probably utasoma mambo yenye ulikuwa umeyasoma beleni. So First Chronicles and 2 Chronicles previously was one book, but it was divided into 1 Chronicles and 2 Chronicles. As you come to the end of 2 Kings, you realize that we leave both Israel and Judah kingdoms in captivity. Assyrians have taken Israel into captivity, and Judah has been taken by the Babylonians into captivity. And First Chronicles and 2 Chronicles was written later after the captivity. And the reason of the writing of the book of Chronicles was to remind the Israelites their beginning and where they were, and with emphasis now in Chronicles 1 about David as their king. So the book of Chronicles was written after captivity, and its theme is genealogy and history of the nation of Israel. It summarizes the history of Israel. It also attempts to unify Israel as a people by tracing the lineage of David, and that is why the first 9 chapters, you realize that they are chapters of genealogies, and they get to the reign of David. It also emphasizes the Jewish spiritual heritage, whereby it highlights spiritual lessons and teaches also moral truths during the reign of David, whereby you realize that his sins are not emphasized, but this time his triumphs are emphasized. Also the emphasis of the building of the temple, which was very prominent in the nation of Israel because it acted as a center of worship for an individual and also for the whole nation. Also, as you read 1 Chronicles, it focuses on Judah's history, and you realize that the history of Israel is omitted. As you read the book of Kings, you realize that most of the kings in the kingdom of Israel were wicked, and they did not walk in the ways of the Lord. The author of the book is unknown, but the Jewish tradition history says that, or suggests that Ezra was the author. The key verse in the book is chapter 14 and verses 2. And we say the key verses so that at least you make note of it. If possible, you underline it. It carries like a summary of the whole book. And when you grasp the key verse, it gives you a picture of the theme of the book. The outline of the book is you will read the genealogies of Israel from chapter 1 verses 1 to chapter 9 verses 44. And in between you read number 1, the ancestors of the nation of Israel. You also read number 2 of the tribes of Israel, and number 3, the returnees from exile in Babylon. B, you also read the reign of David. chapter 10, verses 1 to chapter 29, verses 30. And you read number 1 in these verses. When David became the king over all Israel, when David brought the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem. Number 3, David's military exploits. Number 4, the work that David did to build the temple, the arrangements that he made to build the temple, or for the building of the temple. There are many insights in the book. I have picked on 2. Number 1, as you read the book, the genealogies and also the reign of David, you realize that the book brings out appreciating our godly heritage in our Christian life. Whether you got saved yesterday or maybe a week ago, you realize that you need to appreciate that godly heritage that you have received in your life. Number 2, the passing on of the same heritage that you have received and the truth that you have received in your life to the next generation. We do not live for ourselves. Every generation, though they do things for themselves, you realize that you lay a foundation for the next generation. And I want to believe, ya kwamba, as you finish the book of Chronicle, First Chronicles, you will trace your own genealogy in faith. Ni nani aliyekuhubiria, ni nani ambaye ametumika katika maisha yako kukufikisha penye uko katika imani, and you appreciate them because they have contributed in your faith. And also appreciating the different contributions zenye umepokea katika maisha yako na ili usimame katika imani. So may the Lord God bless us even as we make a record and appreciate our history of faith in our life. God bless you.